Dear children, let us now continue or proceed further with the cocoa cultivation in Ghana. Ghana is a West African country along the shores of the Gulf of Guinea, and it is often referred to as the cocoa land. Why cocoa land? Because maximum cocoa production is done here. And Ghana is one of the world's major producers and exporters of cocoa, along with the other Western African countries like Nigeria, the Ivory Coast, and Cameroon. Now, let us look at all these countries in the map of Africa. Here you will find your Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, and Cote d'Ivoire is also commonly known as Ivory Coast. So here all four of them along the western coast of Africa, you have the maximum production of cocoa. And in Ghana, the country itself, there are these three towns in which you have the maximum concentration of cocoa cultivation. The names of these towns are very important, so you should memorize them. That is your Accra, Kumasi, and Takoradi. Children, I would request everyone to open their books to page 118 so that we can mark in the book itself the important points we need to remember for the cocoa cultivation in Ghana. We have already discussed this entire paragraph. In the PPT also I've mentioned it. Here they've given a beautiful map where they've given you the coastal country of Ghana, and here they have not written, but here you have your towns of Accra, Kumasi, and Takoradi. Usually they form a cocoa triangle. And here you have your Ivory Coast, and the other two countries that we had mentioned before were your Nigeria and Cameroon, which we have already seen in our maps very clearly. In this paragraph, the cocoa tree has been described, a basic characteristic of a cocoa tree. That is number one, it is an evergreen tropical plant. So let's divide this entire paragraph into 6 pointers to make it easy for us to learn. The cocoa tree, when they are discussing it, they are telling that it is an evergreen tropical plant. Second point is the cocoa tree grows to a height of 4 to 9 meters, but it only begins to bear the pods after 5 to 7 years of plantation. So up till 5 to 7 years, there is no growth of these cocoa pods that we are going to see in our book itself, or you can even click onto the link that I have left. There are two links which I have left in the PPT, and you can click onto them where you will see the cocoa pods growing on the trees and the entire process of manufacturing cocoa for the chocolate is being shown out there. Here, let's come back to the cocoa tree that we were discussing the major points. The fourth point it says is that the cocoa pods grow on the trunk and the main branches. It is not growing onto the branches alone like any of the other fruits. Here in this picture also you can see that they are growing on the trunk and the main branch itself. The fifth point that we need to learn is that the cocoa powder is extracted from the beans and the pulp is called the cocoa butter. While you are watching the process, it is when you break up this entire pod of cocoa, you have a lot of beans or the seeds along with the pulp. Like you must have had your custard apple. It's just a huge custard apple, and when you break it, you have the seeds which are covered with the pulp. Now, this pulp is the cocoa butter, and the seeds are used for making the cocoa powder after the fermentation is done. Therefore, but this cocoa butter is also not wasted. It is used for manufacturing cosmetics and drugs, whereas the beans are used to make the cocoa powder, which is used for making chocolates and various other things. The next thing we need to know about cocoa cultivation is the favorable geographical conditions for the cultivation of cocoa. That is, what is going to help the cocoa plantation become prosperous in an area or grow well. Number one is your climate. Second is your location, where it is supposed to be located, and there are various factors that we'll be discussing. The third one is the type of soil that it requires, a particular type. Then the amount of labor it requires, whether it is available in that particular area or not. So these are the four basic geographical factors that are responsible for good cultivation of cocoa. Number one, that is climate. What type of a climate does it require? The climate will include everything, that is your temperature, rainfall, the amount of sunlight, all of these. So here let's mark the high temperature and humidity of the equatorial region, that is the 15-degree north and south of the equator, are the best suited for growing cocoa. And as we saw the location of Ghana, here in the map, when we see the location of Ghana, and right now we have spoken about 15 degrees north and south of the equator. So here we have Ghana, which has the most conducive climatic conditions, that is your high temperature and humidity. That is the temperature between 24 and 28 degrees, and humidity, because it lies along the equator, and you will definitely have direct sunlight, which is actually harmful. So to avoid that, you will have to grow tall banana plants and the other trees, so that it is giving it a lot of shade, and the cocoa pods are not going to get damaged. Now, this can also be asked as a give reason question. So, as to why are the tall banana trees or the other trees planted in between the trees of cocoa? Because they are going to provide shade to the cocoa pods so that they are not damaged by the direct sunlight. The next point, which comes under climate, that is your rainfall. It should be about 125 to 150 centimeters per year. Secondly, apart from the 125 to 150 centimeters per year, it should be well distributed with no dry season. That means it has to have a uniform distribution of rainfall throughout the months of ripening. So in this favorable factor of climate, we have spoken about the high temperature, humidity, the degrees, that is 24 to 28 degrees of high temperature. Direct sunlight is harmful. What can we do to avoid that? The amount of rainfall it requires, and what are the other basic factors we need to learn is that the cocoa pods on the trees they also need protection from strong winds. Now, why do they need it from the strong winds? So that the unripe pods are not blown off by these strong winds, which will obviously damage the pod or the cultivation. The next important factor is the location. Now, where should this plantation be located? Now, here it says a lowland location is suitable. Now, why is a lowland location suitable? That also has two subparts to it. Number one, because a lowland area will have high temperature. Number two, in the lowland areas, it's easy to construct the roads and railways. So here you'll have to mark these 2 points also. Then comes the factor of soil. Now, what kind of a soil does it require? It can have a wide variety or a range of soils, but the soil should be fairly deep, well drained, rich in humus, iron, and potassium. So, we'll have to learn these 3 pointers or the factors of the soil also. Then comes your labor. What type of a labor? Lot of manual labor is required. Why? Because most of the work is done by hand only. Like your harvesting and processing, all of that will require opening up the pod, taking out the beans, or keeping them for fermenting. All of that cannot be done through a machine. So, and looking after the trees, that is your pruning, etc., which is done, that the maintenance of the tree is done, that cannot be done by a machine unless and until human labor is employed. You will not be able to take good care of your cocoa plants. So in this point, we need to mark that cheap and abundant labor is very important or highly in demand for this kind of a plantation. Then comes your cocoa cultivation in Ghana. Now, why are we are discussing Ghana now? Because we have already discussed that cocoa cultivation requires these important factors. Now, all these factors, that is your particular kind of a climate, location, soil, and labor, all of these are absolutely and perfectly available in the country of Ghana. That means the cocoa plant grows best in forest lowland. So when we had discussed about the location, a lowland location was required. Although cocoa is grown all over the world, even in India, in Andhra Pradesh, it has the maximum growth in of cocoa in India, in Andhra Pradesh. But then not everywhere you'll find all these factors which are easily and perfectly available. Whereas the cocoa cultivation in Ghana, it started way back in the late 18th century. It started exporting cocoa also. But now let us understand why the cocoa cultivation in Ghana is more easily done, or it's most conducive to be done out here. Number one, it has the forest lowland. Number two, it grows best in the small holdings as well as estate. Now, these small holdings and estates, these are the two terms you must have heard about in the tea plantation also while we were doing in class 6. These are basically the plantation areas, and the terms are used with the plantation only. Now, here it says the forest vegetation is cut and the cocoa seedling planted in nurseries are later transplanted in rows. Now, what does the term plantation basically means? That means every tree is planted, every sapling is planted at a particular distance, keeping in mind that later they will grow. And as we had read that the beans or these pods start only occurring onto the branch, or they start growing onto the branches only after 5 to 7 years. So up till then we'll just be looking after the tree, nurturing it, and looking and maintaining it, so that after 5 to 7 years, when the cocoa pods start sprouting, or they start giving the fruit, we will have the maximum benefit from them. Here they have mentioned that these rows are 2 to 4 meters apart, with tall and leafy banana trees grown in between to provide shade and protection from wind. Now, again, they have mentioned the same point, that is the give reason point that we had discussed here. The banana leaves are planted so that they are protecting the cocoa pods from the direct sunlight and the strong wind, because it is going to harm the pods which are unripe and are very delicately hanging on to the main branch. We will only do this much today, children. Let us now discuss the homework and end the class. The homework for today is that mention the 4 main features of the River Nile. I've given you more than 4. You can select any 4 features which you feel easy to learn, and you can write them in your notebook. Then you have the second question, name the major cocoa producing countries of West Africa. The third one, it's not a homework but it's an activity. You can make a dish with cocoa powder or chocolate and share its recipe and pictures with your homework, so that we also get to look at what all you are good at making in the kitchen. We'll be looking forward to your new recipes and beautiful pictures of your dishes made with cocoa and chocolate. Thank you, children.